and then hold it.
By the night of August the 26th, just a few enemy holdouts remained in the vicinity of the mosque.
This was on the eve where we were going to do the assault into the shrine.
In a final effort to soften the mosque complex, airstrikes were called in to bomb one last building where insurgents were holed up. The first aircraft in made a precision strike.
The building was totally leveled and flattened. And before we could even, high-five each other, that building was successfully taken out, unbeknownst to me or anybody else. The second aircraft dropped another bomb.
Oh my God.
The second bomb landed right on top of the first and sent debris flying. But it all seemed too close to the mosque.
I remember my heart basically falling, out of my chest and me sitting down and almost sick to my stomach, thinking that, oh my God, this is it. We've blown it. We've probably destroyed the mosque. I couldn't see anything. All I could see was smoke.
Then, as the smoke slowly began to disperse,
just waiting and waiting to see what was left. And shortly thereafter, I could see one light bulb, two lights. I saw the golden dome. It was still in place.
The mosque was intact, and a devastating warning had been sent to the insurgents.
I watched these bombs hit. I watched them go off. And I know that had to unnerve everybody inside that shrine. I think they knew it was over.
Now, at long last, the coalition forces were ready to storm the mosque. Coalition airstrikes had taken the fight out of the Mahdi militia holed up in the Imam Ali Mosque. The end was near. But suddenly, word came from Iraqi officials. Sistani's peace plan was a go. The military was told to stand down.
At that point in time, we had accomplished our mission. We had essentially held the enemy's arm behind their back until they were willing to negotiate a peaceful settlement.
Sistani's plan succeeded. The Mahdi militia abandoned their weapons and peacefully left the holy city. The battle for Najaf ended without damaging the Imam Ali Mosque. But for the Marines of the 11th MU, it was a bittersweet victory.
My first reaction was anger. I was extremely upset that they were just going to be let go just like that, with no repercussions at all. We'd seen too much. We'd heard too much. We'd lost too many friends.
The Marines at that point in time would have thoroughly enjoyed capturing or killing Muqtada al-Sadr. But we understood that the mission is to support the government in Iraq, and if that means giving their mosque back and Sadr gets to go, then that's the nature of the beast.
You have very mixed emotions with it, because you know that when you attack into someplace that restrictive and that's that heavily reinforced by the enemy, that you're going to suffer casualties. And not having to do that is not such a bad thing.
We were glad that it was over. And, that meant that no more people were going to get hurt. No more people were going to die.
It's a testament of the young Marine on the ground, the trigger pullers that really knew where they were, knew how to communicate, and work together, regardless of what service they were with and regardless of what country they were with. They pulled off a great victory for the coalition.
The battle for Najaf and the Imam Ali Mosque was hard won. But for the men of the front lines, their feelings of satisfaction far outweighed their frustrations.
No, I'm glad the mosque survived. That is the most important place in the Shia religion. And if it had been destroyed, that's one more, it's one more tick mark against the United States. And I think we probably picked up a lot of allies in the process because we did not destroy the mosque.
The Army's cavalry units moved out of Najaf on August the 30th and returned to Baghdad. The Marines of the 11th MU would stay for another 7 months.
We rebuilt the schools, replaced all the windows throughout the city. Anybody who had a family member that was killed, we gave them condolence payments.
And whether we did damage or the insurgents did damage, the focus was fixing that immediately. Because if you don't do that, you don't put people back to work, you're going to be back at square one again, fighting people again.
There was a real focus of effort after the fighting to get the city back up and running, to get its architecture, its sewerage, its water, its electricity back up and running so that people would not have to suffer after the fighting.
The Marines still patrolled, but now they had a new focus: to direct services and aid to the civilians of Najaf.
After the fighting, though, pretty much from September until February when we left, we had contact with the people pretty much every day.
We'd stop and talk to them, bring them some cold water. They'd give us some grapes. There'd always be little kids there. We'd bring them toys and stuff that people had sent us.
So often we talk about, are we making more insurgents by our policies? And maybe in that case we made less insurgents because we did let them leave and we didn't take the fight to the death. And maybe, just maybe, they realized they had a government that was starting to form that was going to attempt to develop a peaceful solution to problems. And maybe they realized we weren't always going to try to kill every insurgent we found. And only the history books will tell us if that's the case.